Hi, welcome to Glendale Today. I'm Councilmember Lauren Tolmachoff, and I represent the northernmost district in Glendale, the Cholla District. Today we have the honor of being at Midwestern University, which is home to educating healthcare professionals and a huge economic engine for Glendale and the West Valley. The Glendale campus was founded in 1995, and there has been enormous growth since then. Today we have the privilege of getting a community update from Dr. Kathleen Goeppinger, president of Midwestern University. We will then take an inside look at the university's clinical services and find out what's available for our citizens. Good afternoon, Dr. Goeppinger, and thank you for taking the time to meet with us today.
Well, thank you very much. It's delightful that you would come to campus for an interview and have our community be able to see a little bit about what's happening at Midwestern University.
Oh, we're very excited, and the community is very excited about the growth that's happening. I get a lot of phone calls and questions about things that are happening around the campus. I'm really excited to learn more about what you're doing today. There continues to be a lot of growth happening and a lot of inquiries about what are you doing. There's a barn here now, there's horses out in the pasture. What type of new buildings, what type of new programs do you have here at the campus?
Well, let me step back just a little bit and talk about Midwestern University, who we are, and why we came to Glendale 20 years ago, just so that those at home can get some insight as to our growth and what we've done here. The campus came here 21 years ago, and at that time, we had one campus, which was in Downers Grove, Illinois. We were founded in 1900. But during that time, we really were very restrictive in what we educated, which was really just osteopathic physicians and then some pharmacists. It was 20-some years ago that we said, it's time for us to expand. And we looked all over the valley to look for a place that a not-for-profit university could call home. And while we looked at 4 or 5 different sites within the Phoenix area, knowing that this area at the time did not have a medical school or a pharmacy school in Phoenix, we chose to come to Glendale. And we have since that time done this huge building project to really show the community that we're a community partner in all areas of healthcare. So while we started with just a medical school and a pharmacy school, we certainly went on very quickly to put in dentistry, optometry, physical therapy, occupational therapy, physician assistants. And our newest endeavor that I'm sure your people at home want to hear about is the veterinary college. But in that time, we have had this huge investment in the community. And we've built more than 35 buildings. We have got this campus to a point where we're very comfortable with its safe, secure environment. But we're also very happy that Glendale has been so welcoming to us. So you asked me what's new. And I think that's the interesting thing. I look at every building, I think they're all brand new because I've been here the whole time. But when I look around, I see that of the newer buildings we've put on, we did a great big building for our veterinary program that's called Cactus Run, named after the state bird. We built more housing for our students so they can afford to live on campus and be able to take care of their families as well as become students. And then of course we're sitting in the new Companion Animal Institute, which is a 120,000 square foot building that is really designated for those in the community with small animals to bring them in and have their cat, their dog, their parrot, whatever it is, treated here by both our faculty and certainly some of our students.
So you're getting care that are being supervised by medical professionals taking care of your animal.
Yeah, actually at this time you're only going to see a few students because while we matriculated our second class this past fall, the students that you're really going to see in our clinics next spring will be third-year veterinary students. And veterinary medicine is a 4-year program. And I'm very proud of the fact that we are the first in the state. And being a not-for-profit, we had no federal or state funds that went into the development of the college. But we felt it was very important that the state of Arizona have a veterinary college.
And it's a state-of-the-art veterinary college. I was just blown away. I was able to tour with my Rotary Club, the clinic here, and just, I mean, it is the highest standards and excellent facility available, and available to the community, which I don't think a lot of people are really aware.
And the exciting thing that we're about to do here is we understand that we're going to need emergency care for animals 24 hours a day as we continue to see more and more of our pets coming in. So we actually will probably start sometime by summer having a 24-hour-a-day emergency clinic for animals here.
Wow, that's fantastic. And this is a busy place. I mean, this is a early afternoon, and there's continues to be a flow of animals coming through here.
Let's go see Carly and Keenan. We go home and go see Kramer. Let's go see Kramer.
There was recently a new report done about the economic impact of Midwestern, not just in Glendale, but in Maricopa County, with the construction of the 35 buildings. But what an economic engine, just the university's growth itself, taking away what the faculty and the students bring to the table, but you just keep expanding.
I think that's absolutely true. And sometimes people don't understand the true impact of an organization growing in the community. Because you're so right, it's not just the jobs that we've created for faculty and staff, it's not just the students that come in and spend their disposable dollars within the community. But when you think about the number of buildings we've built, 35 buildings, and let me tell you, buildings are very expensive to build. And you think about that and you think, my goodness, we really have created a wonderful economy for everyone around us. And we've done this with private dollars, which is probably the most important thing that sometimes people forget.
Right.
That it's not done on state dollars, it's not done on federal, but we were able to do it on our own.
And with the healthcare industry continuing to grow,
Correct.
how many students apply for all of your disciplines that you have here, and how many get in every year?
Well, you know, that's the thing that's probably a difficult one for people to fathom, but we can have more than 8,000 to 10,000 applicants, and we only take 1,100 students a year. And so our largest program is medicine, and our medical school takes 250 new students a year, but pharmacy takes about 150, veterinary is restricted to 100, dental is about 150, and then in all the health sciences, the largest is the physician assistant, and that happens to take about 90 students a year.
You mentioned the students of Midwestern are huge contributors to our, and the faculty, huge contributors to our local economy. Can you tell us a little bit about how they contribute to the local, not just the community, but to the economy?
I think one of the biggest things our students contribute to the community is service. And I think what's interesting about healthcare education is that we truly believe every one of those professions are really a service profession. So we make sure our students volunteer, whether it's in a health club, whether it's in a homeless shelter, whether it's a walk for diabetes, or just 2 weeks ago we had Cuts for Kids. Every one of our programs we designed so that our students have an opportunity to give back. So it's much more than they're sitting in a local Starbucks having to have their afternoon coffee. It's really that they have that intangible service that gives a great deal back to the community. We just celebrated Easter, and we have this huge community Easter hunt for people in the community to bring their children here in order to have a day of fun in a safe and very cared for environment.
That's fantastic. It's such an integral part of the community that people hopefully understand that it's not just it's an asset to the community, that there's not just the clinical programs that are offered. You have a summer camp for high school students that can come here. And when we got here this morning, about the 48 students that you bring, high school students that you bring here in the summer that get a fantastic experience, an introduction probably like no other to the field of medicine, whatever their interests are.
You know, I think that's an important program. One of the things that we want to do is always get students excited about education. And we really want students to understand the value of healthcare education because, you know, Lauren, we only have master's and doctorate level programs. But we know that if we can get a student excited about a profession early on in their career, they might be much more driven in those first early years of college to have a goal of what they want to achieve. So we go out and bring students to campus that are in high school, and we give them a 2-week experience to let them really understand what does it take to be a healthcare professional. And if we can motivate even a handful of those kids every year to be successful in undergraduate and apply for a graduate program, we believe the program is very successful.
Absolutely. Maybe they want to be a dental assistant or hygienist, or not necessarily a dentist, but they're exposed to find out that maybe you have a passion for something that you wouldn't be able to realize another way. How do we, as a community, get the alumni, the graduates, the physicians, the pharmacists, the optometrists, physical therapists, clinical psychologists? How do we retain them here in our community?
Depending on the profession, some come from the state and stay in the state, which is a very important thing for us. But we've always had to face a challenge, and that is within the state of Arizona, we don't have enough postdoctoral education opportunities for physicians. And so over the years, Midwestern has worked really hard in trying to develop new postdoctoral training programs with hospital partners all over the state. So we've actually started residency programs in towns like Sierra Vista and Kingman, and we've worked really hard to make sure that if we have a medical school graduate be able to get a residency in the state of Arizona, they tend to stay in the state of Arizona. But if we don't have enough medical residencies and they decide to go to Colorado for their residency training, the chances of us bringing them back is less. And so we worked really hard on the postdoctoral side to see if we can't have more opportunities here in the state.
That's great. So as the medical industry grows, and it does continue to grow, a lot more things happening in the West Valley for the medical healthcare industry. There'll be hopefully more opportunities to offer to the graduates that they can stay here in the community and be part of our community.
That's absolutely true.
Okay,
That's true.
Wonderful. Well, hopefully we can be helpful in that endeavor. Now, with the healthcare industry continuing to evolve, people are expressing interest in. Obviously, there's only so many spaces. But are there any new programs that you may be considering adding here to the university?
Yeah, we have a brand new one that's going to be starting this fall, and that is the speech language pathology program.
Oh, fantastic.
And it is a master's program, and it's really geared towards two different markets. Certainly, it's geared towards young children that have speech impediments or stuttering problems, but it's also geared to the adult that might have had a stroke, that may have had other impairments later in life. And so that we're hoping to train students that are equipped to handle both the young and the old and be able to bring forth a much more important and articulate speech for them as they need the health care.
That's a great program.
It is.
I happen to have a special needs nephew who, he's just turned 18 actually, just a few weeks ago, but he still needs pathology and speech therapy, and it's really, really made a difference in him because he's had a lot of speech issues his whole life, and a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So I'm really, and when is that coming?
It actually is starting this fall, and we have just about admitted our first full class of 60 students, and we're very excited about that. And then we're always looking at new programs. So we're going to look at a master's in audiology. We're going to try to look and see what other master and doctorate level programs are needed here in the state in healthcare. And we're always open to trying to meet the needs of the healthcare community as we go forward.
How many acres is the campus?
We're about 100
buildings occupied on the campus now, and how many more do you have room to grow?
Well, we do have more room to grow, but right now we're at about 146 acres. And the buildings that are on the very near horizon happen to be an Institute for Healthcare Innovation, and which will be some research and testing. And then we're also going to be building a much larger speech language pathology lab and institute. So we've got some plans for the future.
Now, will there be clinical, and will that be open to the community for
Yes.
the students to be bringing people in for therapy, for speech pathology?
Yes, actually by next spring.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
excited to hear
It is.
about that.
You know, and I think sometimes, I don't know if our neighbors understand this, but we're seeing more than about 6,000 people a year between our dental institute, our eye institute, and the multi-specialty clinic. And those patients are really being taken care of by both full-time faculty that are practitioners as well as academic faculty and students. And so last year alone in our dental institute, we had 60,000 patient visits.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.